Hello, we're about to start. Very nice to welcome you to this talk about our Startup Challenge winners. I'm very pleased to have you on stage because we spent quite a nice time exploring different value propositions about our startups during this Startup Challenge. The Startup Challenge this year was about trust and tech and how we can build confidence or how we can accelerate innovation adoption by building confidence, because you know that probably one interesting thing that the innovation is growing and moving very fast, amazing speed, and to give value and to give the best of the innovation today, we need to build trust, and probably one of the key players in the trust area is PwC. And that's why we think that one of our mission, one of our role is to be able to build a trustworthy ecosystem of innovation in order to help our customer to get the best of this innovation. It's not only AI and Gen AI, but it's more diverse than that. And I'm very pleased to present you today our 4 winners and 2 special guests, member of our PwC jury, and I will ask them different questions in order for you for them to share about their experience during this challenge. So, Amani, I'm very pleased to have you today, and just in a few minutes, can you explain who you are, what your company is doing, so IDEMIA, and what have you tried to find with the Startup Challenge, and which kind of criteria are you interested in with the startups?
So thank you indeed, and thanks for having me. I'm really glad to represent the jury today. So my name is Amani Hakim. Indeed, I'm heading innovation for IDEMIA Secure Transactions. So you all have something on you that is provided by IDEMIA, and most of the time you don't know it. We provide payment cards and the chip which secures them. We also are embedded in your smartphones. Every time you connect, you're using a piece of software which is securing your connectivity, which is provided by IDEMIA. So I've said here that we're all about security and securing transactions. So the theme obviously was very important to us, because what is security if you don't have trust coming with it, because it can break everything. The other thing which is very important to us is to know that security is a matter of ecosystem. You don't secure anything alone. It's about looking at the end-to-end. And this is where IDEMIA thinks that there is a huge value in working together, big players, smaller players, medium enterprises, and startups, to see how we can make things change and bring more security to the end users without putting the burden of security on their shoulders. So that was really one of our key criteria, to say, how are you securing and building trust in innovation without adding a lot of friction? So really important to us, and interested both to complement our solutions or to use them for our own facilities and our own systems.
Thank you very much, Amani. Charlotte, it's always a pleasure. Charlotte from Dassault Systèmes, I have the same question for you.
Who am I? So I'm Charlotte Bois-Guilbert for Dassault Systèmes. As Amani said, with IDEMIA, you all have something on you, around you, that has been designed, prototyped, and maybe even manufactured using Dassault Systèmes solutions. So Dassault Systèmes is a software company. We are not building planes. We are building the software, developing the software to allow building the real world in a virtual world to enhance our conditions and human conditions. So I'm working precisely for the 3D Experience Lab, which is Dassault Systèmes Open Innovation Laboratory and Startup Accelerator. And the lab criteria, we are always looking for worldwide startups, early stages startups with a disruptive technology and some technological challenges to challenge the world, but also to challenge our solutions and help us learn. We are looking for startups with impacts. And when we talk about impact at Dassault Systèmes, we talk about Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations, all the startups that we currently accelerate, 70, answer at least one of the UN SDG. And then, of course, what we're looking for is for startups which are in need of Dassault Systèmes solutions. Otherwise, I guess we are not the right program. Because what we provide to the startup is access to Dassault Systèmes solutions, but most of all, access to collective intelligence. At Dassault Systèmes, all employees can allocate up to 10% of their work hours to work with the startups that are accelerated at the lab. So we are not one innovation team. All Dassault Systèmes employees, we are 24,000 worldwide, are invited to collaborate and to collectively work on disruptive technologies. And what we were looking in this challenge is, as you said, looking for trust. You know, Dassault Systèmes has a cloud, a sovereign cloud at scale, and to work on a network together to be able, of course, to protect ourselves and be sovereign all together.
Thank you, Charlotte. Now it's my pleasure to introduce you to the winners of our PwC Startup Challenge. So I will start with, and it's a real pleasure to have Stanislas from Expedip. Well, Stanislas, it's a real pleasure because the startup is not only young people, it's also experimented people. And I can say that because I have also white hair. And I start with you, Stanislas, and I would like to ask who you are representing, and what you are doing. Because when we spoke a lot about security, but we need also to speak about trust, to be about explainability, understanding. So, floor is yours.
Thank you, Thierry. So there is no age to start a startup, indeed. It's not my first one, but this one is the most interesting by far. So we are Expedip. We do a deep learning framework that is self-explainable. So when I say that this way, you don't care. What you care actually is deep learning is all around you, and you know, most famous deep learning is ChatGPT, but there are others. It's all the black boxes that makes decisions for you that you don't know about, and that are in your cars or elsewhere. And those black boxes, they are black boxes because you don't understand them. And in the US, the US Army spent several $100 million trying for 4 years to design a technology that they were unable to achieve. And that technology is what Expedip produced. So what do is we do a framework that lets data scientists, AI specialists design deep learning models that contains their own explanation. And the impact of that is the following. First, it lets people understand how the model works. This is the first time that you can see actually from the inside how the model works. Second, it lets you optimize the model based on your business requirements, based on your objectives, like is it more important to have fast inferences or to be better performing on one type of results. You can really choose what you want, and it's the first time you can do that thanks to our technology. And the third part is you can explain to the outside world how your model works. You can explain to the users, you can explain to the engineers that will integrate the deep model into an equipment, etc. So we started to work for the defense industry, people like Thales or Naval Group or others. We also work for industrial partners. For example, we are very good at temporal time series, temporal data, and for example, data that you have in every trackers, every sensors, etc. And we, for example, work in the automotive industry and others where we help design virtual sensors that can be explained and that help redesign the way the equipments that you use are manufactured. And I think that's all.
Thank you, Stanislas. So you can explain what's AI based on deep learning, why the output is this one,
yes.
and how it went to this conclusion.
Indeed. One of the key things is we started in healthcare. So the origin of the project was my co-founder was doing producing models to predict the aggressiveness of prostate cancer. And the doctors told her, we need to explain the model, we need to explain the AI to the patients, to the regulatory body, so the health, ARS and other institutions in France, and also to our insurance company, because they insure themselves and they need to be able to explain the tools they use. And to the three questions they answered, we cannot explain. And so Alam said, from now on, I'm going to work on making deep explainable, because the doctors choose less performing models and probably that, and it didn't help some patients. So explainability in deep learning is key in healthcare, it's key in the industry, it's key in defense, it's actually key in many, many industries.
Thank you, Stanislas. Florian, it's your time. Florian from Trout Software. Florian, the same question as Stanislas, but one more. Why Trout Software?
I thought you was going to go for the age and so on, but you went for the name. Okay. I think talking about the name, so Florian, the CEO of Trout Software, we live in an age of attention, and as you can see in a conference like this, there is a lot of noise out there. Standing out with your brand, with your name, is something that matters, and so that's why we picked that name. I'm also a big fisherman, but that's like a side story. It's a long segue, because what we do at Trout Software is that there is what we think is a big problem is like a quarter of cyber attacks are targeting industrial systems, and there are systems that when they breach, the cost is really high. We're talking millions, we're talking even more when you think about critical systems, and really what we do is trying to help industrial and manufacturing companies to protect their network, their sites, and so we've built hardware and software that they allow to implement on their factories and really secure all of their assets with notion of zero trust, demilitarized LAN. So we're a French company. We're working with also the Thales of the world and also smaller ones. Have offices in Dublin and in the US, in New York, and are going to be on the stand today to chat a bit more.
Very nice. Thanks a lot. And you have, well, you said that you work with Thales, for example, but you are currently deploying in some factories or with some larger big names?
Not necessarily larger big names, but more the mid-size is where we see that there is a lot of challenges in terms of accelerating the digitalization while keeping safe and secure, which is, I think, the theme of today. So the sweet spot for us is more a company around 500 to 1,000 employees that is starting their digitalization journey, and they need to continue to innovate to keep their margins and so on. That's the sweet spot for us.
Yeah, with an issue about cost and impact of threats if there is some bad things.
Ideally, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Florian. Well, we spoke about Trout, the name, but what about Giscard? So Guillaume.
Yeah, sure. Hi everyone. So I'm Guillaume. I'm part of Giscard. For the one who wonder about the name, actually it comes from Isaac Asimov. For the one who read one of the most famous books, there is a robot named Giscard with a K, nothing related to political reference. And this robot, actually, in that book, defines a law which corresponds to a lot of things we believe in, which is a robot. I think back in the days we were not talking so much about AI. A robot shouldn't do harm to the humanity. And that's why we picked this name. I'm in charge of the relationship with our clients on the sales side. And our mission basically is to empower people to create better AI model. So I think it's a mission probably everyone agree with, but how do we do that? We have created a platform which helps big enterprise, especially finance, insurers, retailers, the one which are really concerned by the upcoming regulation, to control the risk that AI and more specifically generative AI creates. We're talking about quality risk, security risk, and compliance risk. So using us, those companies can control, identify and control risks such as hallucination, data leakage, lack of compliance with a standard or regulation. And so it's very useful to avoid having some costly mistakes. I'm sure you see all these incidents which are sometimes publicly known, like the chatbot which are pushed to production too fast because it was not properly tested. And we know for sure that the people who need to test AI are not the data scientists. So we have built this platform to help those enterprises really consider the quality of AI as something which is not a technical topic. So if you use us, you have a control of all the risk and all the tests you need to do before pushing your AI to production. We have the chance to work with different insurers, different banks, and we are based in Paris, and we were created 2 years ago, and super happy to be here.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's a lot more clear what Giscard is referring to. And well, because we are on name meaning, maybe Olivier, what about octopi?
Well, very pleased to be here. Octopi refers to an animal, the octopus, the mimetic octopus, which is able to swim without being seen. And I'm going to tell you what we are doing, which is quite far because basically we mimic data. Data is very sensitive, not only personal data, it's very sensitive. And on the other hand, it's also very useful. We need it for innovation. And that's because it is a very important, universal problem that some regulation have been raised, like such as GDPR, HIPAA, etc. And well, we see that all these regulations do not tackle all the issue on the market. We can see in the newspaper that there are still some problems. And basically, it's because we overuse data. Namely, if we focus on personal data, we use personal data when we need it for people, but sometimes we just need data to learn about the patterns, and we still use personal data, which is not useful. We could use anonymous data. It's quite obvious, but now if we agree on this, the question is, yeah, what technology, what can we use? And that was the reason why we created Octopi. We have the solution. We are able to create from data, or from personal data or sensitive data, new synthetic data. They are not only synthetic, they are synthetic and anonymous. It's quite useful when we talk about AI, for instance. We have demonstrated, we have several use cases where we have shown that it's possible to reproduce, and more than reproduce, improve the results of machine learning models trained on avatars. And the technology has a strong barrier to the entry because we have been successfully evaluated by the CNIL, and we are the only one to have this. The technology has been published in a scientific review, Nature Digital Medicine. It's not because it's a big review that we are proud, it's because it's fully transparent, and it's fully transparent because it's explainable. It's not at all what we call black box model, and that's because it's black box that we can bring trust, and each anonymization that we set is being provided with a security report which proves the security that you bring, bringing trust. And well, that's the proof that for us there is absolutely no tension between big data and privacy if we are able to switch our mind.
Super. So you are unlocking the power of personal data without compromising privacy.
Yes, well, the objective is obviously to be able to use data, to keep it useful. What we bring is to be able to not have to make a choice between utility and privacy. with our technology, which we call avatars.
Thank you very much. So, Olivier, as you have the mic, can you just tell us quickly how you went through this challenge and what are the next steps you plan?
Well, trust is definitely basically our motto. It's very important for us. We feel it's. We often talk about the legal issue. We feel there is also an ethical issue. It's a major issue because if you don't have trust, there is no data. If you don't have data, there is no innovation. So we feel we have to tackle the problem at their origin. And the next step is to increase our go-to market on different verticals. We are coming from health. We work already on other subjects like such as mobility, insurance, university. So the next step is increasing our go-to-market. We have more than 20 use cases with demonstrated the return on investment, and I'll be glad to discuss deeper with you. I'll be there right after and all the day long on Friday.
Thanks a lot, Olivier. Guillaume, the same question. What's next?
Yeah, good question. So, during this challenge, what happened is that it was a way for us to accelerate discussion with a few members of the jury, or people we were in touch with, but thanks to the visibility given by PwC, just after people were contacting us again. So the next step is really to move from those proof of concept, proof of value, which were a way for a lot of companies to test us on one use case. So typically a situation like the company is about to release a chatbot, boosted by GenAI, and they want to make sure the answers from the chatbot are not going to generate some embarrassing stuff for the company. And now we need to educate people on the fact that AI risk control is not a one-off thing. It's something the same way that in traditional software there is no way that the QA topic is done only once. Your AI is going to have a new version, so we are really focusing in terms of next step about moving further ahead in the relationship by integrating Giscard as part of the mandatory stack. As soon as there is an AI model in the company, you need to test it with Giscard.
Thanks a lot, Guillaume. Florian, what's next for you?
What's next? I think first I'm really, really cautious about those competitions and prices and so on, because they can create distraction for a startup. And that's the best way to lose as a company, I think. Our luxury as a startup is to focus. That being said, I think we help industrial people power their factories, and the shelf life of our hardware is 5 to 10 years. So trust is a key component, and there is no better partner than PwC to convey that. So I think for us is to build on that recognition, build that partnership, so that we can help more customers and secure these industries.
Love that. Stanislas?
I guess it's working with PwC on a few use cases, so that would be great. So hopefully meeting with the people in AI and stuff like that.
I'm pretty sure we'll find some scenario to do that. Charlotte, Amani, for you to, let's say, a quick word.
Well, they obviously don't need an acceleration program at Dassault Systèmes. So I'm happy to help any way you want. Is it network with our customers that could benefit from your solutions or anything else? So whatever you need, guys, my door and LinkedIn account is open.
And I think we'll be in touch with some of you guys, and also of some of the other startups that was really difficult to pick these for. So well done, guys, but lots of discussions.
Thanks a lot. It was really a pleasure to have you. Our deep and warm congratulations for all the 4 winners. And Charlotte, Amani, will you be there on our next PwC challenge?
If you want to have us, yes.
Same time next year?
Yes, perfect. So if you have any question, we have a couple of minutes to take a question. So feel free. And thanks for
I have a fun fact
your participation or being there. I think it's super important for our winners. And I think we will move on the next talk. Thanks a lot.